Hi everyone, and welcome to the Publishing Performance Show. Today I'm really happy to be joined by Nicola Kinloch, who is an artist and illustrator, and she's just published her first children's book. So thank you for joining the show, Nicola.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell me a bit about your background. So you're an artist and you've just got into illustration quite recently.
Yes, that's right. My background's in fine art photography and sort of textile design, essentially. And I've recently been working also in UX design, so really design and photography. But yes, during COVID actually, my mother had written some children's books, 7 to begin with, and she was looking to, we were looking to sort of stay connected over that time. And so we started on this journey of making these children's books. And so she whittled them down to 3. And yeah, I've been illustrating them for her. So
these books were written by your mum, but you've done the illustrations on them?
That's correct, yes, yeah.
Right, okay. So what with these particular books, what was the inspiration behind writing them?
Yeah, so for my mother, Patricia Lang, she had been doing a lot of beekeeping with her granddaughter, and she realized that her granddaughter didn't realize that the books that she was reading about bees were the same as the bees she was going out and helping her grandmother with. So, and she is a very curious child, like many children, and she was asking a lot about the bees and how they work and why they do this and that. So that was kind of the inspiration, yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, my parents-in-law, they keep bees as well, and I know that it's quite tricky. I've spent a few summers with my marker pen finding different queens and putting red dots on them and things like that. So
exactly, and it's so I think it's a bit like a bird people. Once you start, once you get interested, there's so much to know that you tend to get very interested.
Yeah. So with this book, the aim of it is it more of a like a practical guide for kids to understand about how bees work, or is it more of a story?
Yes, it's a bit of both. I think it's sort of an adventure story wrapped up in technical information. My mother's an anthropologist, and so she has sort of taken that angle, but then what she's done to sort of make the story more interesting is she's told it from the bee's perspective. So that sort of brings in the fun element for the kids. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what is the bee's perspective?
Yes. Well, they talk to each other and they're looking back at the beekeeper and sort of talking to each other, and then having that perspective looking out into the world, essentially. I guess too, as a child, there was a book that I absolutely adored. Now I can't think of the author off the top of my head, but he'd built a world for a mouse in the wall, and just my imagination as a child looking at a wall, the boringest thing ever, and just picturing this whole world behind it. And I think that was sort of part of what we were trying to create, where you look just at a beehive as you're going past as a child and you picture this whole world inside there.
Yeah, amazing. Is the beekeeper a friend or an enemy in the books?
It's not one or the other, really. It's just something that's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's more of a friend, but it's not sort of friendly. Or a carer, yes.
So with the illustrations for this book, is this the first book you've illustrated yourself?
It is, yes.
So what was your inspiration behind the styles? Because your drawings are absolutely incredible.
Oh, thank you very much. I guess because I've been storytelling through visual photography for many years, and I've always drawn, but not commercially. It was really fun to actually play and find a style. It took a very long time.
Yeah.
And I do have some early drawings that are quite hilarious. But yeah, the trickiest part with this book was actually to strip it back and let get the weight right between the really technical heavy and just being able to look around and have a lot of white space and just time on the page where you don't use processing the information, because there is a lot of information, and it's a lot longer, the story, than the word count is much higher than normally would.
Yeah. Did you how did you learn to do illustrations? Because I know a lot of people just think, oh, I'm just going to start drawing. And that obviously you can do that. But I think there is a bit of a skill in knowing what sorts of pictures to put in a children's book. I only know that because I illustrated my own children's book, which I think we talked about before. I've got it here.
Yes, which is also fantastic.
Yeah. And I got the drawings like this. I've got I basically took inspiration from Quentin Blake. And I'm not going to say I stole his style, but basically I stole his style.
It's a brilliant style to steal.
Yeah. But what did you do anything to learn about how to draw children's books?
Yes, well, I think two things. I've always worked to a brief, so I understand what it means when you're given a brief. So I sort of approach any project in that way. So I'm looking at the why and, even down to what size it should be and how it should speak to you color-wise. So I've sort of got all that visual language from years of training. But what I did do is I did some online courses, which were fantastic, especially during COVID.
Which
Two
ones did you do?
I highly recommend. One was called The Art of Sketching by Matthias Adolfsson, and that was on Domestika. And the other one was this fabulous group of women called the Good Ship Illustration Limited.
Yes, I know those guys, yeah.
Yes, and they are fabulous. So, that's sort of, they were the two that really stood out to me and helped a lot in my...
So what were the things that you learnt from those courses that you could give as tips to people who are aspiring to illustrate their own books?
One that really stood out was there's no way to do it. I think I learned that myself with photography, having trained with many different photographers. Every person has a hammer or a camera and they use it differently and they work in a different way. And that was really wonderful to know. I think people are still muddling along as they go, and that's really nice when you're first starting out. And then a lot was to do with process. So understanding that there are, there's particular formulas that apply to certain age brackets, and even just with the way you illustrate, depending on the voice. Yeah, I guess tips and tricks. Can't think of any straight off the bat.
With the formulas that you were talking about just now, so you said there's particular formulas that work for different age groups. So your book is aimed at like age 8, roughly, like between 5 and 8 sort of thing. Yeah. So did you have a formula that you worked towards when you're illustrating this book?
Well, it was really the 40-page, and like I said, it was much more text than usual. That would normally sort of be down 500 word count. But yeah, so because of that, I really tried to pace it well and try and keep the surprises in terms of not so much the language, but from page turn, the world sort of changed slightly to keep in pace with the copy.
So what do you mean by that? Because so you said the style of your drawing changed as the book evolved, or?
A little bit. But yeah, just because it was switching between the beekeeper's perspective and then the world of the bees. So I had to sort of have illustration elements that showed which part we were in. And just to signify the beekeeper. So yeah, I hope that explains it.
Yeah. So when you did your course, you talked just now a bit about understanding the process. So what's your process for illustrating a book?
Yes, well, firstly coming up with the idea or brainstorming, I guess, and obviously I've also done Sophie Howard's Kindle publishing course. And so there was a lot of really fabulous information there about really researching your keywords and working out what book you want to write. So that also applied to children's books, although I know it's not something that she teaches on that course specifically. So that was sort of part of the research and finding out what you wanted to write. And then, then I do some initial drawings and just really fun play drawings, establishing characters. And then I'll come up with the idea of the story and write that out. And I tend to do the drawings and the writing together and separately. So I'll sketch it out incompletely in the thumbnails, and then I'll go back and rewrite the story and then do another lot of thumbnails, and then see what the text looks like within those thumbnails. So sort of it's back and forward and back and forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once I feel like I'm happy with the pace and how it's all working, and then I'll move to secondary drawings. I actually then blow them up and draw over them until I'm happy with the actual finals, and then I'll do a final paint. But that book I did with I actually hand drew it without using a tablet. Yeah, so
Oh, so you did it all on paper at first?
Did it all on paper, that one, yeah.
Completely. Okay, so how did you translate it from being on paper to being digital and printable?
Then just did the A3 scans and did a final colour touch at the end, yeah.
Oh, so you literally just scan it in, and then so the reason I ask is because I get asked this question loads. So I did basically the process I used for mine was I got a PowerPoint presentation and I wrote the book at first and just put it in a PowerPoint so I could see like which page would be which. Yeah. And then the drawings I drew by hand, and then I kind of uploaded them, and I got someone on Fiverr to kind of make them digital for me because I don't really know how to do it, but it works quite well for me because I could do my sketches and they could then make them look really pretty by adding the color and the layers and things like that, so I could move them around.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So how did you do it? Because it sounds like you did it by hand but then did it digitally afterwards separately.
It was just the color touching at the end. So yeah, I actually did
what does that mean?
I came up with this really great process for me, and I use butcher's paper. And I use color on top of that, and you can actually, with the types of felt pens I use, they move more like paint on the butcher's paper, and then you can put a white paper or even colored paper behind that, and then it looks like paper when you scan it. So you get these beautiful. I think because when I was a kid, one of my family friends was an architect, and I just loved the feeling of these architectural papers. They felt really special to me, so I wanted to sort of try and have these special final drawings that were separate to the book. I
love using posh art equipment. I'm an absolute sucker for a posh felt pen.
Absolutely.
I even use them in my daily life. All my notes are written with these sketching pens.
Oh yes, and Lamy pens. The best.
Yeah, lovely. So the process for you is if you say someone came to you and said, "Oh, I've got this idea for a children's book," you'd say to them, start with the story. But then if you were sketching out that they want to draw it themselves, sketch out the drawings themselves using their pencils and just paper, just so they can get an idea of what it's going to look like first. And then literally you can do it by hand and just upload it and scan it in and edit it there. Is that how you do it?
Absolutely. Well, I'm actually using an iPad as well now, and the pens and brushes on there are so good because initially when I did it, because I've always drawn with a tablet for years and years and years, I've been using Adobe, and so but it's just not quite the same. And the iPad's so lovely because you can have it on your lap and move it around. But I've always used drawings and then scanned them in. What was really fun with this book is I could actually do really detailed drawings and then overlay them in Photoshop. So you keep the detail, and then, so the final image had a couple of layers of drawings on the final. So it seemed to come up really well.
So what's the plan with the future of this book series? Because it sounds like you've got a couple more that have been written that you've got in the works.
That's right. So I've got 2 more to do, and then I've got my own books that I've written that I'm dying to do. I'm doing in the background. So I have been drawing bees for many years now, and I'm keen to be drawing other things. But yes, that's the plan.
What your next series about? Are they also about bees?
No, they're completely different. I have a silly series called The Adventures of Common Cutlery. It's about a fork, a spoon, and a knife, and they're just silly adventures. The first book is about Eddie Fork, his name is, and he's sort of this character who travels all around the world just finding out what people eat for breakfast in different countries. And it's a rhyming book, so it's really silly and fun. And then the next story is I was going to call it Keira Knightley, but I'm not sure I'll get away with that. But I've Got Your Back. It's called Keira Knightley, I've Got Your Back, and it's all about just what to do to sort of stay. It was during COVID, so I was writing it for kids just to have fun and not get too stressed. So it's, like climbing trees and sort of old school things to do to stay off the screens. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And what's your plans to illustrate those? Have you got? Are you going to stick to the same style as you've been using with your current, or are you going to experiment with something different?
Yeah, it's very different, very different. I think, I think I'd probably be one of those people that would do lots of different things. But I think really you think they're very different, but anyone else looking at them can see that it's your style. So, I think using a tablet really makes it feel quite different to drawing. I definitely think you're using slightly different parts of your brain, even though you've got a tablet, to paper. For me, I always feel like there's just something slightly different happening in your brain when you're using one or the other. So I think I'll try and keep using both. And what's lovely about when you do it on paper is you've got these beautiful things at the end that are separate to the book. And I think that's quite magical, especially when people come and ask you, you get out these wonderful big drawings. I think that's I like that as part of the sort of illustration world.
Yeah. So, and obviously you're an artist as well, so that which has helped. But if is getting into illustration like for other people something that you want to like explore, like looking at working with other artists or other writers to write their books too?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to collaborate. I'm putting together my portfolio at the moment, and I'd really, really love to meet some people who would like to collaborate, whether it's co-writing together, or me just doing the illustrations for their books. So yes, that's the plan.
Have you worked out how you are going to find people to work with yet?
Absolutely. I'm just in the process of I recently joined the SCBWI. And they have this fabulous,
What's that?
That's the Global Community of Children's Book Creators, the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're a global organisation, and you can join up with groups all around the world. So I've recently just been asked to set up a group in my local area with people. And so you get to join and share your stories and give feedback on what people are writing. And I think that's really fantastic from someone who has been a freelancer. It's really neat to know that there are people you can sort of handball your idea that you thought was great yesterday that might be rubbish, but you're not too sure.
That's amazing. So I didn't know about that community. So that sounds like a great resource for people who are maybe really interested in writing children's books. It's a great place to go and learn and to meet other people who are in the same boat.
Yes, absolutely. And the fact that it's global is quite remarkable, I think. The other thing that is an absolute Bible that I found out about is this, it's called the Children's Writers and Artists Yearbook 2025. And that lists every single publisher, globally. So, and they actually also have wonderful essays about how to publish both traditionally and self-publish. So it's another great resource. Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. We'll put links to that in the show notes. So if you could give one piece of advice to people who are thinking about writing some children's books, like some practical advice, not just inspirational advice, where would you tell them to start?
I think I'd say do a course to start with, just because someone will take you through the process from start to finish.
Yeah.
And so then you get a feel for whether it's something that you even would like to do. I know there are lots of people that like to do a part of it. So I think it's such a process-driven, from my perspective anyway, it's such a process-driven thing, which I love because that's what I do as an artist. And I love research, and so much of children's books, even though the end product might not feel like it, there is a hell of a lot of research that goes into the behind the scenes. So, I think, do a course potentially to work out if you enjoy that process. Otherwise, you can just do a small part of the process. So, just write the book and get it illustrated, or work with someone that, just do an outline and someone else can write the book. I actually had help with the rhyming books. I outsourced some of so it was like a co-writing. And that was it was a lot of fun just because you had that sort of person to spar off and throw ideas around with. Yeah.
Yeah. And so with your books, did you get them edited or did you do all that process yourself?
We did. We did use Fiverr to edit it. Obviously, I pushed. My mother wasn't so keen, but I just think it's always, I know myself as an artist, it's always really great to have just the third party, like the umpire of the, as it were, just to see that it's someone completely outside of what you're doing can understand it.
A neutral third party that's not your daughter to tell you that your spelling's wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I can see why that'd be helpful.
Yeah, so we actually had someone in the UK, and she actually turned out to be an academic that was doing some editing on the side.
Moonlighting.
Yeah, that's right.
Great. Well, it's been wonderful to speak to you. It's been great to hear about your process. I've really enjoyed chatting about that. Just before we go, we always do this with everyone, but it's what one book do you recommend that everyone should be reading at the moment?
Yes, well, this is a book I think is fabulous. It's called Designing Your Life, Build the Perfect Career Step by Step. I don't know if you've heard of it, by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. And it's something I wish I'd got my hands on a lot earlier. And it uses sort of design principles to look at your life and where you want to go. And I think for someone like an artist or anyone in the creative field, it sort of helps you think about your journey as something that you take control of and make happen. And yes, I think that can be really helpful, because for a lot of people when they're first starting out, it's sort of hard to know what to do or where to go or who to talk to. And yeah, so it's a really fabulous book. And you can actually buy it with a study book as well.
It's got a workbook with it.
Yeah, workbook. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's what we teach people, to help make a bit more money with their books. So.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great chatting, and good luck with your next book launches. And we'll speak again soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me, Teddy. Cheers.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Publishing Performance podcast. I really hope you found today's episode inspiring. I love chatting to authors, writers, and people in the publishing world. Now, just before we wrap up, let me tell you about Publishing Performance, the #1 platform for authors who want to increase Amazon book sales, but are not really sure where to start. Now, this show is all about helping you to sell more books. And if you're looking to boost your publishing game and to maximise your book's potential on Amazon, then Publishing Performance is designed to help authors just like you to grow your readership and to reach a much wider audience. Now, I know that Amazon ads can be slightly complicated, which is why Publishing Performance is like having a personalised ad account manager to create your ad campaigns, to choose your best keywords, and to make adjustments in real time. Now, if you're investing in ads, you really want to make sure that your investment is being used effectively, and Publishing Performance does just that. It aims to make your budget go further, improve your organic rank, and target keywords more effectively. Just go to publishingperformance.com to get started with Amazon ads for just $1. Thank you so much for tuning into the Publishing Performance podcast. I really hope you found today's episode inspiring. I love chatting to authors, writers, and people in the publishing world. Now, just before we wrap up, let me tell you about Publishing Performance, the #1 platform for authors who want to increase Amazon book sales, but are not really sure where to start. Now, this show is all about helping you to sell more books. And if you're looking to boost your publishing game and to maximise your book's potential on Amazon, then Publishing Performance is designed to help authors just like you to grow your readership and to reach a much wider audience. Now, I know that Amazon ads can be slightly complicated, which is why Publishing Performance is like having a personalised ad account manager to create your ad campaigns, to choose your best keywords, and to make adjustments in real time. Now, if you're investing in ads, you really want to make sure that your investment is being used effectively, and Publishing Performance does just that. It aims to make your budget go further, improve your organic rank, and target keywords more effectively. Just go to publishingperformance.com to get started with Amazon ads for just $1.